which is probably one of the shortest and quickest demos you can ever do because it does it all by itself. Did you manage to order any kefir grains, and did you go about that?
No, well, I saw the link. I opened it, but I have not been ordering it yet. But yes, no, I will do it.
Don't worry, don't worry.
But thanks for the link.
That's okay. Every now and again they do special offers, so I can send those through. My kefir grains I've got actually in a little pouch because I find it easier with the milk to actually have them in like a little pouch. So you can see like that the kefir grains are in there. You don't need very many. So they're in a little plastic pocket. You can also use those natural tea bags that you get as well. So that's what they are. And they look very similar to the kefir grains that we use with the water kefir. And we equally need to take care of them quite well. Kefir grains are a balance of bacteria and yeast, which is what ferments the milk. And we're using today sheep milk. But I've previously used goat's milk. I like goat's milk very much, and you can use cow's milk. They have to be raw, not pasteurized, otherwise it doesn't ferment. And obviously, the best quality of milk you get, so organic, otherwise you're going to be taking in all the hormones and everything else that the sheep are being fed as well. So those are the only two things you know. And I'm going to show you one that I fermented, that's been fermented for a couple of days as well, which turns into like a yogurt. It's a naturally carbonated yogurt kind of drink that that you can use in your smoothies. You can use for like a breakfast. You can have it as a yogurt and put fruit and things in there. It's just what it creates. It's just so full of good bacteria for your gut. Again, along with all the other foods that we've been making, but every single fermented food that we've made has a slightly different strain of bacteria with it. So some are stronger in others and weaker in others. But so, like if you can get a whole broad range, then you're actually doing your gut huge favors. Because 75% of our immune system is actually taken from the effectiveness, the health of our gut. So that's why I'm so kind of keen on making sure you understand how to take care of your gut. And with the things that ruin the gut bacteria, we've touched on that before. Certainly alcohols and stimulants and things like that won't help at all. But also if you think about any antibiotics or any antibacterial hand washes and things like that, all these things kind of leach into your body. So it's no surprise why we get hormone patches and all sorts of drugs now are actually being made that go on the skin, because everything gets absorbed by the skin and then eventually ends up being passed out and through the gut. So it actually ruins our gut bacteria. So all these things have to be taken into consideration. It's just to be a little bit more aware of not just what you're eating, but what you're surrounding yourself by as well. So if you're using medication or you needed antibiotics, or if you're using antibacterial hand soap, which everybody seems to be very keen on these days, that's actually going to have a negative effect in the long run on your gut bacteria as well. So like I said, we can use cow's milk, goat's milk and sheep's milk. And all we need to do is put the kefir grains in your mason jar and pour the milk on the top. And that's why it's so easy to have it in a bag, is because when you're finished, when it's fermented to the extent that you want it to be, then it's quite easy to sort of fish the bag out again. You can see it just floating to the top there. And that's it. So that's it. And then what I will do is I'll cover that over with a muslin cloth, and I'll leave it on the side just to ferment. 24 hours is normally enough. 24, 48. The longer you leave it fermenting, the stronger the taste will be. If you know what the taste of like a Greek yogurt is. It's kind of tangy. It's not sweet, so it's kind of tart. It's kind of got a tangy taste, and that's the taste that you will actually be getting when the milk kefir is ready. You'll know when it's ready. You'll see the texture, and what I'll show you here is the texture. It's kind of like a yogurt, a bit lumpy. So what we've got here, you can just see that it's actually quite thick, quite lumpy, quite jelly-like. If you were going to make that into a cheese or something, you can just use a muslin cloth or cheesecloth and just take as much moisture out as you can, and then that would leave you with the cheese, but obviously not very much. You still have a lot of the milk left. But something like that, that's a great starter for a yogurt or something like that. And then you can add that with your breakfast cereal, put it with fruit. I put it with smoothies, and I mix in the morning. I can put something like chia seeds in there, and then I would add in greens, so like spirulina powder or chlorella powder. Maybe a tiny little bit of honey because it is quite tart. My boys like it. They like it with a little bit of honey as well, and they like their fruit in the yogurt. So that's just the easiest way of finding a good way of getting some really good probiotic foods. So that's what it makes. So what I would do is I'd actually put that in the fridge, and I'd fish out the bag, et voila. And then I'd start off another culture. So if it's a popular thing for your family, then it's great, then you can just keep going. So don't make too much if you're not going to eat that much. But certainly, it's very, very quick and easy to do. So within a couple of days, that's ready, and you're getting really great bacteria, and that's way better than anything you can buy in the shops, because most of the shops, the bacteria, the bifidus, and all the others, they're really laced with an awful lot of sugar to make them sort of palatable for the general public. But they really are, they're not nearly as good as what you're able to make, as you can see, just so easily and so quickly yourself. So that's what we do there. There's really not a lot you can say about milk kefir other than it's fantastic and it's quite easy and quick to do. So if you've got any questions, please go ahead. Oh, there is one other thing. A lot of people steer clear of milk because they're lactose intolerant. And a lot of people that have lactose intolerant, they get a lot of acne and they get a lot of spots. This is one way that you know that you're lactose intolerant, as well as bloating and feeling very uncomfortable. And I've heard and I've seen it as well, that somebody that I thought was lactose intolerant, they slowly but surely added in milk kefir, and they used a sheep and a goat's milk, I think they preferred, just very, very slowly, because they enjoyed the milk, but they couldn't, their body couldn't take it. But it has such a healing quality on your guts, and the leaky gut syndrome that everybody these days seems to have because of wheat and because of all the carbohydrates and everything that we're eating that are wheat-based, it really does ruin our gut. And then our gut becomes leaky, and then things float through the intestinal walls and just cause havoc. So this is just the most brilliant way of healing your gut, by putting really great probiotic foods in there. This is really quite a soft, gentle one. If you're already tried the kimchi and sauerkraut, this is very soft and gentle. A lot of people like the milks because they're so gentle. And it can really heal the gut very, very well. So just to let you know that if you are lactose intolerant and it hasn't been suiting you very well, you can add in milk kefir, and slowly but surely it will heal your gut, and then you're able to take milk kefir. I wouldn't go back to drinking normal milk, but you can certainly take the milk kefir, the milk yogurts, and things like that. So that's it. Oh, you can also use coconut milk. Now, I've not tried it myself. I will, though. I'm going to go and get a good supply of organic coconut milk, and I'm going to use that for making coconut kefir.
How long can you keep it?
Oh, it normally stays in my fridge for about, because at the rate that I use it. So this would probably last a couple of days, 3 days, and I would have that in my smoothies, and the boys would have a yogurt. So I try not to make too much because I don't know how long it would last. I don't think it can go off so much, but I mean, I wouldn't say any more than a week. That's my feeling. But once it's in the fridge, it stops fermenting anyway, and it stays like that.
Okay. So at some point I was offline, but could you use some of the made kefir as a sauce?
Yeah.
So
well,
you would just Yes, so I mean that if you have this ready-made kefir, could you take like a full spoon of it and then add it to new milk and then start new kefir?
Yeah, okay. I mean, I've always used the kefir, but I mean, you need a starter. So I wonder if you could try that. But I mean, once you've got the grains are like a lifetime. You know, if you take care of them, then they keep on working. They don't duplicate as much as they do with the sugar, the water kefir, but they stay the same. You know, it's not like they keep on growing. If you want them to grow, you're going to have to add a lot more lactose and a lot more sugar and stuff in there for them to grow. But, you know, you can just keep on using them.
Okay.
Cow's milk, goat's milk, sheep's milk, and coconut milk as well. I've heard that's very, very lovely. So I'm about to go and go to a big store that I can buy some organic coconut milk. I'll try that and let you know how I get on.
Yeah. It might be a bit challenging for me to find the raw milk.
Yeah. So. I mean, I've ordered it from my local cheese shop, who has a local farmer who supplies him with raw milk.
Yeah.
It's something that I didn't know that I would be able to get, but I have been able to get just by asking around. But so that's how I've done it. In Finland, do you have a lot of the sour milk anyway? I know they do in Holland.
Yeah, they have some kind of sour milk, and there is a mixture of sour milk, and there are lumps in there. So there is this kind of different kind of. There is a mixture of yogurt and kefir, something in between.
Yeah.
So you can buy it, already like in a 1 liter carton.
Yeah.
So but that's a bit too acid for me. It's not really my taste.
Okay.
So, but there is something similar to kefir that people will.
Well, you leave it as to how strong it gets.
Mm.
So maybe if it's going to be too strong for you, if you want to experiment with it, then certainly don't leave it as long, and then just it's something to just play with, something to sort of like, oh, I like this variety and I like that, and for that long. So.
Okay.
So you've been swimming this morning then?
Yeah.
You're liking that, eh?
Yeah, it's nice 6 a.m. to be in the water.
On your own?
Yeah. So, well, there are many elderlies with me, so I'm not just on my own.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually, it's quite crowded at 6 a.m.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you find that you like doing?
Yeah, I like doing it because it's quite well. It's demanding. I have to go out. Plus, it's physical.
Yeah.
And then if I manage to get there at 6 o'clock, I have good time, to get ready and start my day. And I'm in the office at 8:30. Like nothing would have happened.
Yeah.
So I managed to do that. So I can do that twice a week because the pool is open twice a week at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So
this is.
Pardon me?
But it makes it a long day for you.
Yeah, it did, but it's all right. It's okay. Yeah, but it's fun, and it's also what I would say. Well, it's something that I really enjoy. I enjoy, tiring myself in the water. So.
And walking.
Yeah, well, walking is is still a bit difficult. So. Yeah.
How did you get on with some of your work colleagues?
Well, I have had a discussion with my supervisor, so this didn't go well. So a lot of anger on my side, so that didn't go well. But I will not change him, and he will not change me. So I just have to take it, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
But now I'm quite confident that I really start this 80% in the beginning of May.
Yeah.
Although they postponed the agreement, but there is no reason why they couldn't give it to me. But they just play not so nice, and they make it a bit difficult.
Yeah.
So it's this kind of.
But I mean,
How do you say,
because I mean, in some respects, they get a better version of you when you're in work.
yeah, but it's very difficult to agree on objectives that would just require 80% of your time. They tend to give you objective for 100% within 80% of your time. So it's a bit of a trap, They give you a flexibility, but on the other hand, they don't lift the load as they should.
Yeah. Is it something that was in your contract anyway, that this was an option, or is it something that you've negotiated?
This is something that I have negotiated, and I have to do that just for a certain period. So, and I have been told unofficially that we hope this is for a certain period, not for a longer time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this, I think, is also not very positive. That it's a bit of a blackmailing.
Yeah.
Okay, you can try that, but.
Yeah.
So.
I suppose you've got to make sure that it works for you, and that's all you've got to be, concerned about. Really, it's got to work for you, really. And the better you are, the better you're able to perform at work.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, I've been speaking to a lot of women over the last week because I put out I needed 100 women that I wanted to speak to. I've probably spoken to about 20 or 30 so far, all about women in between 40 and 55, or 45 and 55. And this subject often comes up about, when women are going through the perimenopause and things like that, the way that the body changes, but we're expected to sort of still be, working full out, and also sort of still look after the home and look after everything else as well. And it's just very interesting to see. I think there's a woman in England who's talking to bosses, and there's another guy who wrote an article about it as well, about this having flexible time or having some time off. And that's why I was interested whether it was a contract that you had that allowed you to do the 80-20, that allows women to work slightly differently, but then be able to give more. Because a lot of women have the leave for pregnancy, and fathers even get leave for pregnancy now as well. And I just kind of think in this particular phase of life, that because we're all working in very male-orientated businesses, we're seen as the weaker sex. We don't get paid as much, and we should be able to perform the same length of hours. But I just find it absolutely amazing to think about what the body is actually going through when it's changing all the hormones and everything else that are wreaking havoc within the body, and the lack of concentration, the anger, the frustration, and all the physical symptoms. I just think it would be great to think that you could change something enough that it works well for women, and then also for men at work as well.
I think it's difficult for the working environment to think out of the box.
Yeah.
So there are laws, there are legislations that allows you that, but to put that into place is a bit of a taboo, because people are afraid that you are showing the bad example.
Yeah.
So by taking
not fair, because we're men, so we don't get that time off. And think, well, fine, we'll pay the women the same amount of money that the men get paid. There's all those kind of arguments that go on. And I know myself, having worked in a very male-orientated industry, I was just thinking, I wonder how that would work with human resources and things like that. Because I saw the amount of stress that people were leaving from the company that I was in because they had so much stress and anxiety and panic attacks and all the rest of it. And I'm just thinking, wow, how would this be seen? So I'm going to try and contacts of human resource people that I know, just to see how women, because there's more and more and more women coming into their 50s who are, very highly in their, high up in their career, but it isn't considered something that that they are allowed to be any different to the men. Yeah, but anyway, we'll see how that changes, if it changes at all in the next few years or decades or whatever. But I just kind of think it's a really big transformation that a woman goes through at that particular age. I mean, it's equal to sort of going into puberty. It's kind of like going out the other end. And all the and there's many women that I've heard. They've had to leave their jobs because they couldn't cope with everything that was going on at the time, and all the anger and everything that they felt. They couldn't control themselves, and it was having to leave your job because of those circumstances. I just think it's ridiculous when you've got a very qualified person in a very good role, but they're not allowed the space to be a woman.
So what I feel is that a woman who is reaching 50s, she's asked to be a mentor. A man who is reaching the same age is asked to be a boss.
Yeah.
So basically it's the same thing. You should be showing the example, and you should be a leader. But where for the woman it's more like a teaching role, and not having the mandate to be a boss, but just having the knowledge to be a mentor.
Yeah.
And this is a difference,
Yeah. Well, because the women are also very nurturing in their nature, they kind of take on people and show them exactly how to do their job. Whereas men are very much, this is my job. And what did I hear before? There was a saying in the companies that I used to work in: you get promoted to your level of incompetence, because you certainly don't want anybody to know what you don't know. So you always employ somebody a little bit less than you so that they don't take your job. It's like, oh my God, all the politics and everything. But this is something that I'm very interested in, having spoken to as many women that I've spoken to over the last few weeks, because this was something that really interests me, because I know the fermented food has really, really helped me and several other people with our mood swings and our hot flushes and all these other things, and just give us some energy back. And if this is something that could be adopted by some women in organisations so that they can help themselves, to sort of go through the menopause a little bit better, rather than relying on hormones and pharmaceutical aid. Anyway, it's something that it's really interesting me. So I was interested in your story as well, and how you were able to sort of manipulate your way through and coast your way through and get things to work out for you.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to look after yourself.
Yeah, I don't have a choice.
No, but I mean, this is what I mean about if you can go swimming, or you can find stuff that you really enjoy, putting pleasure back into your life, regardless of work, and finding the foods that you like and that work for you. If you're looking after yourself and then you're in top condition, then you're able to sort of flow through work a little bit easier, but carry on working.
Yeah, and in my discussion with my supervisor last week, I've been asking him that what is my motivation in all this workload.
Yeah.
And he couldn't, because he couldn't tell me you will get more money, you will get more responsibility. So there is a point in time that you cannot grow your career because there is somebody at the top which is just sitting on the position and will not give you more. There is a time that they don't want to recognize that the knowledge is worth of money. So you could just simply say, I am capable of doing 10 different things that nobody else is able to do. They will say, yeah, well. So it's really difficult to, to put your value into value.
Yeah.
And this is the thing
What would you want? Would you want more money, more recognition, or more time off?
I would like a mandate. So I'm tired of begging for some means or tools. So I would love those, tools without justifying all the time the reason and the cost and the resources. So this kind of thing. So to be able to work more with tools without begging for it. So to be, trust that what I'm asking for is necessary.
So what you're aiming for, your incentive then would be to have the respect that you deserve. So it's not necessarily monetary or time off or the position of being the boss.
Yes, and it's also this, that I'm speaking to somebody who has no clue what I'm doing on an everyday basis. But, he can see that if it's not done, it's not good, that there is really a problem if I don't do it. So that's what it's the problem.
Negotiating power there, and it's just how you use that negotiating power to get what it is that you need out of it as well.
Mm-hmm. So I have been also, thinking very much that I feel much more happy if I am away from the office. So doing a trip and then, handling it from the beginning to the end. So organizing the trip, organizing the contact, organizing the task, and being there with other people, so far from the factory. Because I'm doing something from the beginning till the end. And, I don't have anybody on my back nagging all the time.
Yeah, so then
this is the thing.
Got the autonomy to be able to do that. So now you know what you actually do want to be able to do. It's to try and get more positions like that.
Yeah. So this is one thing that I'm going to do in the beginning of May when I'm going to the States. So this is one of these trips where it requires preparation. It requires organization, because we have to have workshops and we have to have different topics to handle, and we also need to build up some process for future. So it's not just nice to meet each other, it's also to change processes so we can from that point on work in a different way. But it requires a lot of energy, and it also requires a lot of to have a synthetic view of the things, so you can see the whole picture. And I feel very lonely. I have a feeling that I'm the only one who see all the pieces of the puzzles, and it's very difficult for me to get this person to do this part and that person to do this part, so I can put the two parts together and get it working. It's amazing how difficult it is. So I've been working this past week, and starting small projects here and there, but I have constantly to follow up. So to make sure that in the beginning of May I will be having all the pieces.
Yeah.
But it's fun on the other hand, because I see what I can change to make it working better. Yeah. But the other things that I have to remember is to get credit for it. And this is something I'm not very good at. I'll do a change, I'll do a reorganization, but I do not claim the credit for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you need to be able to sort of, well, this is you for the recognition. This is what's important to you. So you need to be able to get the recognition and decide how you want to get that, and how you want to present that then.
Yeah. So.
And then you'll be happier. And my our whole aim is to make you happier in your work, but basically out of your work as well, but basically just happier in you as a whole.
Yeah, because I can really see if I'm not happy at work, I'm not happy at home. I bring the trouble or the unhappiness or the anger or the nervosity back home. So yeah. I am not a happy and easy person at home. Yeah. So maybe it's easier also if I'm sometimes out of home, because when traveling, under the everyday routine, I do not have to take care of the food or this kind of thing. So it's off my shoulders. So if I travel, I just have a room. I just have to take care that what time do I want the breakfast? Yeah. But the breakfast is ready.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot easier.
Yeah, because I can concentrate on the job. It's the only thing I really have to take care of.
What's happening for you now is you are setting yourself the boundaries. You're realizing, actually, I don't have to do everything. I like doing this. I'm good at that. So you're actually sort of setting your boundaries, if you like, and kind of saying, right, this is what I'm going to do. So from now on, there'll be a new routine in the house. You'll delegate. You get other people to do things, and I think you've already started doing that. And then also at work, so you begin to know what you can and can't do. So you've already said, no, I can't do that. Doesn't make me feel good. So that's not going to happen. As far as I can see, that's not going to happen. So someone else has to come up with a solution. Your children are old enough now, and you've got a husband as well. So it's not necessarily always on your shoulders. Being at home and having to get everything organised.
Yeah, when I've seen that, it's also possible that I do the food shopping and I give orders what to do with that food. So we have been quite successful last week. So I've been, buying different kind of meat, and I've been telling my husband, you prepare it this way and that way, because he's the one who is going to eat it with my son.
Yeah.
So actually, I don't care what they eat as a meat, but if we have it prepared or if we have it bought, so I can say do this and do that.
Yeah. But that's you becoming the educator there, because you're allowing them the freedom to go and do that. So you're setting up a new standard, whereas before you probably tried to control everything. Yeah. And this is the woman's job, she takes over the control of everything, and she can do everything, no problem whatsoever. But at some point she realizes, I'm not happy. And then that makes you angry, and it makes you resentful, and it makes you volatile, and all the other things that go on. And you're not a nice person to be around, and an awful lot. I mean, I couldn't tell you what the percentages of the people that I've spoken to. They've majorly all separated at this particular time in their life, because they just went, when do I get to go? When is it going to happen for me? And this is what we've always done is we've taken care of everybody so damn well. But then at some point we just say, no, we're not going to do it anymore. We become rebellious, and of course then everything breaks down. So it's kind of setting things up so that you can get people to work around you as a team, so that you are able to be the person that you're best to be.
Yeah, but it's also a big step to be this kind of person.
Yeah.
To step back and to reorganize, because somehow it's so much easier to do it yourself because you know how it's done, and so yeah.
Yeah, it is. And if I could teach anybody, like some women going into a new relationship and a new marriage and a new family, it's because, wow, just delegate as much as you can. If you're going to carry on working, and if you're going to, carry on looking after yourself, then start to delegate. The man doesn't have to be the woman of the house, the housekeeper or whatever, but there is some sort of delegation that needs to go on. It's just like, I think I'm going to put my feet up this afternoon, so I'm not cooking this afternoon. So I'm not bothered whether I eat or not, so it's fine. It's just a new way of being.
Yeah, and I always say, nowadays men do not have to wash the car by hand or do not have to change the oil in the car. So why women couldn't just stop vacuum cleaning the house?
Yeah, because we have this guilt. I've just been speaking about this the last couple of weeks. It's the thing that makes us not stop is this feeling of like, oh my God, I'm going to be seen as lazy, or I'm going to be seen as this, or judged, or I feel really guilty that I haven't made dinner for my man, or I haven't made dinner for my children. I'm no good. I'm not a good mother. But you're no good unless you can take care of yourself. And this. An awful lot of women like you, they're the major bread earner. They're going out and they're doing it all, and they're doing absolutely everything. But their health is suffering.
Yep. And we know what happens when you are not taking care of your health.
Yeah, we do. And the major hormones that we need to sort of keep us in balance and everything at this time of life, they're coming from the kidneys, the adrenals, they're coming from the liver, and they're coming from the gut. When your ovaries and those kind of things are not working anymore to produce the hormones to keep you on an even keel and keep you regular, then these are the three organs that are actually making some of the majority of the hormones that we now need in our body. So we need to be taking care of those things. So, for example, the kidneys, the adrenals were absolutely exhausted, absolutely just flat out exhausted. And it's a question of, right, you know, you really do need to get to bed by 10 o'clock. So sorry, you're going to bed in a minute. And you really need to be able to kind of, you know, not feel guilty about putting your feet up and actually allowing yourself some sort of respite time.
Mm.
These are all, you know, the three main hormones are sort of the insulin, the cortisol, and the estrogen. Those are the main three ones, but there's about 7 of these hormones, and they're just flying around. But you know, they can change by what you eat, but not just what you eat, but by how you handle yourself and how you take care of yourself in general ways as well.
Yeah. But I have to say that, you know, chatting with you, it's also, or even, you know, not chatting, but knowing that I could be chatting with you, also helped me to focus on my goals. So somehow, you know, it's like a point to use as a reference, that not being alone in this, and
Yeah.
you know, so actually, you know, just for instance, very simple things, having the icon on Skype, you know, knowing that there is somebody that I could eventually talk to, you know, it just, you know, a simple thing, but reminding me about taking care of my food, taking care of myself, trying to keep myself happy and healthy. So this is a way. This is a way to go.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to prepare now is what's coming to me, because I've done this research and I've done these surveys with these women. What you've just said there, exactly that. The support. You know, there's not, everybody seems to be on an island. You know, the whole way that we live now in society is that we live in our houses. Nobody really knows what goes on behind closed doors. The women are very, very isolated. There's no communication. So to have the support at any time, just to know that somebody's there who completely understands that you're just about to lose it and you've not been looking after yourself. And it's just somebody who's going to very kindly kind of say, what have you done for yourself recently? What have you done for yourself? How are you taking care of yourself? So, you know, you're so right. Just knowing that someone else is there is a big step.
Yeah. At some point I was listening on a conference, and they were saying that you need a no-nonsense person in your entourage. So it's not just a friend. It's not just a shoulder to cry on, but you need this non-nonsense person who can tell you that stop it and do this, and you know, find a.
That's enough. Yeah, exactly. Somebody who's going to take care of you and is going to listen to what you're saying and kind of saying, what kind of words are you using to describe yourself? What did you just say about yourself?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, change what you've just said about yourself, because you need to change that right now, because if you carry on talking like that, you'll get more of that. You know, so I mean, you've already lost one kidney. You want to make sure that you're staying healthy. So you've got a goal. You know, you really know that you have to take care of yourself in a much better way.
Yeah. Okay, but I think I need to go to bed.
You do that. Have a good week.
Okay, you too. Thanks.
Bye.
Good night.